Hi, I'm Tony Kent, and this is episode 3 of Tony Kent Writes and Chats. It's the 2nd of April, and everybody who's tuned in before knows what this is all about. The whole idea behind what we're doing is we're documenting my writing of book 4. The reason we're doing that is, as you know, I'm writing book 4 with almost no idea of where I'm going, and effectively just a blank page and one line of a plot. The reason being I had to abandon the previous one due to the pandemic and the fact that it was about a pandemic, but we've covered that before. So, when I left you yesterday, I promised that I would come back and be able to say to you, well, I've written the first chapter. I promised that on day 1 as well and wasn't able to deliver on day 2, but I can deliver today. I have written the first chapter. And I have to say, it was great fun. I sat down yesterday again, blank page in front of me, one line, what I've called before, massively inappropriately, a germ of an idea in my head. And yes, we filled the page, we filled several pages, or I filled several pages, and we are up and running. So the book is up and running. So you might be wondering how we went from the blank page to a chapter. Well, first of all, I like my first chapters, my opening chapters, to begin with a bang. Now, in Powerplay, which comes out in paperback, as you know, on the 16th of April, it begins with a literal bang. In Marked for Death, we begin with the murder of a former Lord Chief Justice. A bang in its own way, but certainly a chilling opening. And I like to go with that kind of thing when I open. I don't like to have my main recurring characters at first. I like to have new characters, normally the bad guys, doing something bad. And that's exactly where we start with book 4. So that's where I wanted that's how I wanted to start. The question was, where do we set this? Where does it happen? What happens? And so I was thinking, as I always do, well, how are people feeling in this particular chapter? And I often like to go with the weather. I like to think how someone would be feeling in their clothes and how they move, and it's just how it affects the way we behave. And you may notice, if you've read my previous books, that there's normally a fairly consistent weather pattern throughout them. It's maybe just a quirk of my own, maybe it's not even noticeable. But on this one, I thought hot and humid. Let's start hot and humid in the early hours. And where is hot and humid? Well, plenty of places, but I had to choose one. Now, just off screen, there is a Facebook portal, which is a new thing that I bought. I don't work for Facebook, but honestly, get one. They are fantastic and a great way to stay in touch with your family during this horrible period that we're all in. That aside, they also work as a electronic, what do you call it, a photo frame, electronic photo frame. And I was looking at that, and what popped up but some pictures of myself and Victoria, my wife, during our trips to the Florida Keys. And yeah, wonderful place, very, very humid. And so there we had it straight away in my mind. Okay, first chapter is happening in the Florida Keys. I then took that further, thought about, did a bit of research into the Keys because, frankly, quite a lot of us when we go to there spend a lot of time drunk. And so, we've got to make sure our memories are accurate. So I did a bit of research yesterday, checked the geography, reminded myself of where the ports are, reminded myself of a number of things I needed to know. And once I knew all of that, I was ready to go and started writing. The process of writing that chapter, I have to say, and even researching that chapter, did wonders for my overall knowledge of where this book is going. At least it seems that way. Now, maybe as we get further down into the book, what I'm thinking now may not even pan out. However, at the moment, because of chapter 1, I think I've now introduced a very, very significant character, somebody who will be a major factor in the plot going forward, someone that I hope none of you like at all. I hope you like him as a character. I hope you hate him as a person. And I'm thinking that this particular character is now going to be very important. And what's wonderful about this process, what I always forget, and what I hope I can express to you, is how great it is that yesterday morning this person did not exist anywhere. It wasn't even in my head. Now he exists, and he is a driving force behind a plot that was also barely in existence yesterday morning. It's a great process, I have to say, and I'm really glad to be able to do what I'm doing and give you at least some of the joy that it gives me to be able to sit down and do this and to see how enthusiastic you can get when these people just pop up and you sort of pluck them from the air and they arrive almost fully formed. So, chapter 1, all done. Chapter 2 and moving forward, well, I'll be doing that today. I don't know how far we'll get. Hopefully we'll have a good word count by the end of the day, and I'll be able to tell you all about it tomorrow. I know that the next chapter we're going to be meeting Michael Devlin, Joe Dempsey, Sarah Truman, and actually, for reasons you'll see when you read the book, a lot of other secondary characters that we've met throughout the first 3. Obviously, not all of them, because I seem to kill quite a lot of my secondary characters. I've had that mentioned. However, hopefully, you'll recognise the guys we do meet, and this should be a lot easier to write than the first chapter, because while I had to research the first chapter and think it through, well, this is people I know. I know how Michael thinks. I know how Dempsey thinks. I know what they'll talk about, and I'm hoping that we can just have a lovely little reunion, and I'll be able to tell you tomorrow that we've made some real progress. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow.